get this party started.
This party is long overdue.
It is.
I see you checking out my mic. Do I look okay?
Great. You did great.
I did it the right way this time. I'm improving. 100 episodes in, I've almost got the mic thing figured out.
That's awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Episode 93.
A little positive reinforcement.
Good boy.
Okay, so let's rap about a few things before we get into stuff.
Yes, let me just pull up the page so
You do your thing.
have
I'm just going to entertain the folks whilst you text and Facebook and all those things everybody accuses you of. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Awesome episode last week.
Yes.
We got a crazy good response. I'm going to put my hat back a little bit so we don't lose my
pretty face.
My pretty face. So we had Jeff Riegelman.
Mm-hmm.
We had Victoria Smith. Mm-hmm. Does she like Victoria or Tori?
I think Victoria's her
stage name?
Yeah, her stage name. Mm-hmm.
So we had Tori Smith, also known as Victoria Smith from Take the Lead Canine Training, and then Miss Laura Morgan and myself, and it was a pretty cool all-star little thing. We had some really awesome questions, and it was cool to go back and forth and hear a lot of similar philosophical stuff delivered with some different kind of wording and different kind of presentation. I think that's really cool for people. I told you he's gonna as soon as the camera goes on, he's like, "Is the camera on?" And so
he had fleas, by the way. Just want to make that clear.
Old flea bag.
He was
flea allergic.
Yeah, he's allergic to fleas.
Right.
So he got a bite, and then there was one flea on him, making his life hell. And
one flea having a flea party.
Seriously. And he was just in bad stuff. So I got him all sorted out at the vet. So we're all good. He was
itchy everywhere, right?
It was horrible.
Yeah. So that episode, 2 episodes ago, where you hear a lot of that was the flea episode. Be forever known as the flea episode.
As anyone who's had that experience knows, your dog gets really hot too, and they pant a lot.
Yeah,
and just
it's a miserable place. Miserable place to be. So
that's why that's why we're always like Cujo.
So he had to sign a disclaimer that he'd be quiet in order to be on set today. So he agreed. So we'll see how he does. But that episode was super fun. We've had our highest, I don't want to say highest ratings, it's not really ratings, but our most amount of views.
Oh yeah.
Hey, most amount of views. He's already lighting up. He's like, no one's paying attention to me. So obviously everybody dug it, and maybe we'll be able to get them back for next time, maybe in Rhode Island and stuff.
Maybe just
off we go.
Off the stop. Maybe you mean like having Tori and Jeff come back?
I'd love to figure out a way to do that more often. Like at least every time we do a T3.
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah.
So
that would only be 4 episodes. It'd be kind of cool. We could do a split screen, maybe something.
Yeah. It was a really cool thing, and Tori's got her own presentation, and I think she held her own with a bunch of salty old. Well, not you, but me and Jeff. You're salty young, but.
Am I salty?
You can be salty.
No, why do people say that?
Salty's okay. You don't want to be softy, it's Softy Morgan.
Sugary.
I would rather be salty at times.
Yeah.
How about what is it, sweet and sour? you can be both. You can a leg in each camp.
I'm salty. Let's take a poll.
Let's take a poll, right? Everybody can chime in and let Laura know. Salty isn't necessarily bad. I love. It's
bad, especially with a girl. It sounds like I'm this fishwife or something.
It's not about being a fishwife, even though that's a fascinating term.
My mom used to say that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not about me. But
I thought you made that up just now. No, it's more about you being a little bit boom, this is how it is, and this is what it should be. But no. Having some rules. I think a lot of you ladies out there appreciate that Laura has, both the sweet and the salty, with sweet and savory, maybe.
It's because, and you probably tons of ladies, it's because all I did was get walked on my whole life. So
that's not true, is it?
There's a bit of truth. If you tend to be, I was always the nice one, and so you tend to be that. Then when you start seeing that doesn't really get you is where you want to be. Not you need to be some hard ass, but you do have to have better
strike
boundaries.
That balance.
Yeah, dog training changed my boundaries. Dog training changed. My first dog changed how I have boundaries.
Polar Bear was like, would you like to sign up for a free boundary training course?
And I was like, but I'm the nice
No,
mom.
just sign it in blood.
Literally.
Right?
So yeah. Anyway,
Awesome.
enough about me.
So it was a really special thing. I had a
Yeah.
really good time, and watching it was really a lot of
Yeah,
fun,
it was fun.
and everybody's had a good time with
And
it.
I have to say, aesthetically, it looked really good. Our colors, or everything we were wearing,
yeah.
it really worked.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a grumpy, like if Jeffrey Gelman isn't like
Center of
the
attention.
star of the show, and Jeff, if you're watching this, I love
He's
you a
not
ton.
watching.
He's not, right? He's like, I'm not the center of the show, I don't watch it. So Jeffrey's, you can always tell when Jeffrey's not on his own show because he sits like this.
It was like, and I was
I'll
like, Jeff,
give you the least amount of what I have to say.
I'm like, you realize that there's some crossover fans and people are seeing some gaps.
Right?
It's time to
They need to
act
see,
like
like,
normal.
come with the good stuff, right? So, Jeffrey could struggle a little bit if it's not his show, but he also did provide some of the best laughs of the show
That's his
because
thing.
he's the bomb.
To be honest, if I can give him the benefit of the doubt now and thinking about it, he's also doing his best to hang back.
Yeah, I think we are kind of like hard
We're
timing.
ribbing
We're
him,
kind of
yeah.
like throwing him under the bus. But the reality is I think as somebody who's had his own Cujo, like he's been silent.
He's been silent.
You've been setting up the camera and all this, and he hasn't made a peep. As soon as you press play, he's like, play? So let me be really fair, and we'll boogie through this really quick, but Jeff had a radio show for gazillions of years, and he still does, his own Facebook empire and everything like that. So he's also, for somebody, Jeff's an interesting character. For somebody who's like, got so many opinions and so talkative, when you're on the phone with him, he's so deferential.
quiet and deferential,
It's so like if you both talk at the same time, he's always like, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
He's got a really interesting thing with that.
He practices that. I think he practices not being like
obtrusive,
here
steamroll
come to steamroll the show. So, but we see it as kind of like pouty.
Right. So it's hard to say exactly where it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people enjoyed that I called him Jeffrey.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I think people think that I'm putting him down. I've just always called him Jeffrey.
I've always called him Gelman.
You call him G-Man.
G-Man, Gelman. Yeah.
I call him Jeffrey, and I think everybody thinks that I'm like hard timing it. Yeah, like trying to emasculate him.
Right.
Anyways, so awesome episode. If you haven't seen it, guys, please go back and check it out. It's the last one. It's 92, episode 92, all-star episode. And I'm telling you guys, the questions were awesome, and you will definitely learn a ton from it because there's all these different perspectives.
Yeah.
And you'll, like you said last night when we were talking about movies, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be swept away. It'll be amazing. So
I saw Tarzan. That's how I felt. It was amazing.
But she literally did say, I laughed, I cried. And I was like,
I was just telling him about how my
like,
experience was so thorough. I was like, I laughed, I cried, I was in another world. I was just like,
you made monkey sounds when you came out.
I did not.
Anyways, okay, guys, I'm gonna put my water away because I'm obviously just drinking this without thinking about it. So, all right, so we got to move through that. So we've got the T3 LA just wrapped. That was phenomenal. We had a gazillion people here. It was so cool.
Yep.
Like such a great crowd. Everybody really, really into it. Everybody focused. First time doing it here in Chatsworth, so it was like a little bit of juggling, trying to figure it all out. But it went like bam.
That was cool.
So great. And
really great crowd.
people learned so much, and we learned so much from them, as always is the case.
Yep.
Now we've got T3 Rhode Island. It's going to be the last T3. A lot of people are like, well, when's the next one? When can we sign up? This is it for 2016.
Yeah.
So
We're
anybody...
not sure about 2017, like what it's going to look like.
Are we going to
Likely there'll
retire?
be 3 to 4.
Are we like...
No,
Are we throwing out like the possible retirement thing to like... Who's it that always...
Tour?
Yeah, right. We can do the reunion tour in like 2018. We're like, we're hanging it up. When hell freezes over, we'll get back together like the Eagles. Anyways, so what do we got? October...
It's October here because we don't know what they are.
So it'll be linked up because we need that help. So T3 Rhode Island, last T3 launch of the year, and it'll be at Jeff's place, and it'll be special. It'll be awesome. We've already got a gang of people already signed up. And so boogie on it if you want to boogie on it.
Yes.
Besides that, me and you, we have this workshop, TGD workshop coming up. We've got the e-collar workshop. July, which is also known as this month.
July 30th and 31st, meaning in 1 week.
Yeah.
And we actually have a working spot and an audit spot that just opened up for that. So if you were interested or you were on the waiting list, I don't even think I had a waiting list, but I had people that were interested.
Yeah.
Please let me know if you're interested in either a working or audit, because we had someone move to our August workshop instead of that one. So now we have some open spots in July.
Yeah. So, and this is the one that's specifically e-collar stuff, right? The August one's going to be problem solving, and we'll be doing e-collar and other things, but this one is going to be specifically e-collar. So if you're jonesing for some e-collar work with us, this like the angels sang and the clouds parted, this is your opportunity for one work spot and one audit spot. Whoever wants to jump in, let us know. Email us at thegooddog. Just link it.
Just link it.
Okay.
Just in case I change my mind.
I'm telling you, by the time we hit the 100th episode, I'll know how to do all this. You know, slow learner. Anyways, and then so the August one coming up is going to be problem solving, and that we have to link up the dates because we don't know the dates on that either.
I think it's the 13th and 14th.
Okay, cool. And that one's going to be more comprehensive. We're going to do anything that people need us to do to help their dogs, whatever tools, whether they're using prong or e-collar, stuff like that.
Yep.
So that one should be fun and a little bit kind of more open.
Yeah, more like, just free, whatever's going on, we'll take care of. But if you have e-collar stuff, by all means.
Yeah, I mean, we can jump in as deep as you want with e-collar stuff. So that's cool. We've got a couple updates that we're going to jump into at the end of the show. Miss Morgan's got a couple things on tap, some really cool stories that we always like sharing with you guys. And some really, really big news, guys. Really big news. This girl here, who also known as being an author, has her first book finally coming out, The Coyote and the Pig.
Yes.
And I know a lot of you guys have followed her. You know about it. You watched it on Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube videos, things like that. You just did a Kickstarter page. Do you want to tell anybody about like what you did?
I did a Kickstarter, a 4-week Kickstarter, and we're in our last week now. We, meaning me and my dogs.
Are they excited?
They're very excited, and we raised our money. We hit our goal like 5 days ago, so it was huge. So today I released a video telling everyone that it was released, or it was raised. It was realized. So the money will come to me, and then the book will be coming out in September, October.
Man, that's crazy. I'm so excited for you.
It's huge.
So, and it's a fabulous book. But they're really great stories, and they touched a lot of people. And could you really quickly, could you encapsulate, I was going to take a shot at it, but I'd love for you to just in a minute, just kind of encapsulate what it's about and what it tries to kind of tackle?
Yeah, so it started with the idea of, I didn't know what my dogs did. I thought about what my dogs did when I was gone. Just like in their own world, whenever I left the house, what went on. So it's basically this story about this coyote and this pig that end up in the same household. It's kind of fashioned around the way people adopt dogs, but in this fantasy world, people adopt animals. So this girl adopts a coyote and a pig. They become friends over time,
right?
And
some bumpy roads to get
there. But then they end up just taking a lot of adventures when the girl's gone. So they leave, they find a way to get out, and then they take adventures and they meet some other animals along the way, and they're escaping danger, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on. And last year, there were about 3 books written, just on Facebook. It's just been on Facebook, just written every single day. And there were 3 books written. And so now I'm publishing the first book. And then soon after the next 2, 3. And then I have pretty much 4 and 5.
She's got her whole Harry Potter empire is ready to roll. She's ready to go. But something that's kind of important about this, don't you run away.
No, I'm just...
something that's kind of important that I was hoping maybe you can jump into is they're not just stories about adventure, about animals. The subtext of what the real message, they're basically children's stories that are also meant for adults. They've kind of got a universal message.
Yeah.
Could you just touch on that? I know it's you don't want it to be too precious and too
it's not I guess it's lessons. They're learning stuff that I learned, really, when I was writing these stories along the way. When I started back in 2011 writing in a book, in a journal about it, and it was stuff that I was learning about my own life and stuff that I was learning about friendship and relationships and, you know, taking chances and getting out there and just stuff that are like bigger themes that basically you're seeing kind of through the eye of this coyote and this pig that, you know, they're learning the same stuff I was learning. So you're kind of like in a, you know, 20-something-year-old brain of like new beginnings of like adult life.
Yeah, but I think it's so universal and them discovering friendship, the risks of friendship, love, loss, like personal, pushing through fears, and without it being heavy-handed, it's done so beautifully. But pushing through things that are challenging, learning to trust each other and depend on each other, loyalty, integrity, personal character, responsibility, like a lot of like really important messages.
Big messages that I've been like, that I have studied in the past, you know, studied like personal development messages that have come out, and not trying to cram anything down anyone's.
No, it doesn't feel like that at all.
It's just good story. Like my favorite movies ever are Pixar movies. So, and Pixar has that beautiful balance of being able to be like children's theme type stuff, but actually like the reason why it's children's stuff is they're distilling such important messages into really simplistic terms.
Universal messages.
Universal, simplistic stuff.
Humanity and, you know, humanity, I can't find the right word, but
just like, I don't know.
Humanity-centric. You know what I'm saying? Like the, you know, the Pixar movies and all those movies. They're touching upon things that are universal for all of us. That doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a kid and you pick up a certain part of it, or you're an adult and you pick up a deeper part of it because you've experienced it as an adult. It's just done so well, and it's done through the way the characters are put together. It's really special, and I think that if I had a child, they would be books that I would want my child to read, because I think you could in a very like entertaining, exciting way help educate your child about some very important messages without them feeling like they're being educated, you know? It's just the best way for kids to learn, you know, as stories just kind of unfold and they don't even realize they're taking in this information and all that. So anyways, you reached your thing. So now you've got to create, she's got some special books she has to create, because Kickstarter has all sorts of different programs.
Handmade books.
Handmade, different levels, then down to signed and numbered and all that. So those will be coming out soon. I know this intro is going long, but this is kind of like an important thing. This has been a work in progress for years and years, and you know, we've been working. Everybody's asking about the TGD book. Well, this is kind of like the first one, and so we had to make sure that we got this done, and then the TGD book will be coming following on its
kind of our maiden voyage.
Yeah, you get to figure out all the hard stuff, so we can then put out the TGD book.
But it's true.
But I'm also a huge fan of the stories and a huge fan of what you've written. But you know how much I believe in it and support it. So anyways, with that, this has been our first episode that we won't answer any questions because we're at our hour and 10 mark. We'll just wrap up. Maybe order some Indian food.
We had so much to brief
we have
people
so much to share with you guys. And we've gotten lots of feedback that people enjoy our bullshit. And so like, hey, take us how we are.
This is just who we are.
Right? Anyways, guys, okay. Now I'm really bullshitting. So let's jump in. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog. And this to my left is the wise and talented author, Laura Morgan. Right? Does it sound good? Does that feel like well, I think I can wear that title?
The book has to be out first, and then I'll wear it.
You penned it, so if you were to be hit by a bus, I would release those books, and I'd probably say co-written by Sean O'Shea, you know,
illustrated by,
you know, inspired by, motivated by, you know. But yes, the author, the talented Laura Morgan, who I don't think she brought any new nails to the game today.
Same thing, which I'm really actually happy about, because the longer your nails last, the less money you have to spend.
Well, that's a very wise little share there. So, ladies. And then for me, this is Sean. And
Savvy Sean.
I've got they almost match your nails. So I figured now that Laura's going to break out like nails, I didn't want to be left out of the game of bringing something fancy to the thing. Maybe I'll wear a new pair of shoes.
Every single episode.
A little fancy pair of shoes to kind of
Should I match my nails to them?
We could. I'm just worried that my character's going to get called into question.
Your character?
For showing all these shoes. They're going to be like, what's wrong with this guy?
Know.
Why does he have so many pairs of shoes?
No. That's who you are.
Okay.
Own it.
Okay, I'll own it. Okay, so that, and then everything else, the shoes, nails, and everything else, you can see those, but everything else you can't see. Luckily, Cujo's quiet again. All the other guys are sleeping, snoozing. It's kind of nappy time here at The Good Dog. Is The Good Dog's Q&A Saturday episode number, here we go,
Yay!
number 93. That might be our smoothest
That was smooth.
ever.
That was super smooth.
I feel accomplished. I feel smart. I'm
You're all of those
coming
things.
into my own. I'm savvy too.
Super savvy.
Are you saying that your demographic is a bunch of more mature
My
folks?
highest demographic is 60 and older.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
I thought they were children's books, but they're not. They're grandma books.
Literally like 61 and over is like 70% of my audience.
Wow. You can corner the market on
Hey, they're the smartest people on earth, so I'll take it.
If they're digging it, that's pretty okay,
exactly.
right?
They're super wise and they have big bullshit detectors. So if they're like,
If you can get through, awesome.
I like the older demographic.
Okay, and they can pass it on to grandkids.
Yes, exactly. There we go.
Let's jump in. What do you
Okay.
say? This first one's for you, by the way.
my gosh.
You got to go straight out of the gate.
All right, I'll try not to be too salty.
Yeah, please keep the salt to a minimum.
Question number 1. This comes from Eric Schreiber. Eric says, what is the best way to balance affection so that the dog is not confused? When is it okay to give affection? Oh, sorry. No, bad dog. When is it okay to give affection and when is it too much?
Good question.
Very good question.
And that's a tough one.
That's really tough, especially because we have no context on your dog.
Right. Or like how they behave or interact together or
that's what
anything
I'm
like
saying.
that. Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
gave it to you.
Timer's on. So here's the deal with affection. So Sean had mentioned that Sean's got a great blog out right now. Did you call it the 10-10 principle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the essential part of that, which we talk to clients about, is basically that if you're a 10 in discipline, you can be a 10 in affection. And most of our clients are a 10 or 11 out of 10 in affection and a 2 out of 10 in discipline. So what they have to do is bring the discipline up a lot and balance it out by bringing the affection down a lot so that they can eventually find an equilibrium.
Yeah.
So, but that's for dogs that have more issues. Of course, we're seeing dogs with more issues.
Yeah.
So what I will say, Eric, is that it depends on your dog and the behavior. So if you've got a Belle, Sean's Belle, who's like this
Who fell off the bed
sweetie pie.
today?
She did fall off the bed.
Fell off the bed. She's
She
okay.
also
though.
fell from heaven. She's like the perfect
Aw.
dog.
She
is.
did
like
kind of fall from heaven.
Every way. Like he found her on the freeway, and he like cornered her basically to grab her to save her life. And the first thing she did was like nuzzle up to his leg. I'm like, I don't know maybe Hercules.
Every other dog would run
away or like
Human!
be
Ah!
cornered or like
Yeah.
be frozen, but
She climbed right in the car and
she's just a
off
magic
we
dog.
went.
She's a magic dog.
Yes.
She's got some she can get scared of loud like a fire alarm or something like
Smoke
that.
detector or some things, yeah.
So, but she's a dog that you can shower with affection and there's literally no fallout. Now, how many dogs out there are like that? We see 0%. So my guess is that you're on this page because you have an issue with your dog. So I'm going to go with the perspective that you don't have a Belle. And that maybe you have a dog who's in training or a little bit snotty or a little bit pushing some boundaries. So here's what I'll say about affection. Use it to your advantage when it's going to help the dog, not hurt the dog. So that means sometimes we get clients in here, their dogs are going crazy to see them because they haven't seen them in 2 or 3 weeks. They're so amped up, they're like wiggling, they're blowing off commands because they're so overwhelmed in their head. And the client will be like, can I pet her? And we're like, No, not because we're trying to be mean, but because the petting's just going to send her through the roof and make her blow off commands more, send her more anxiety, et cetera, et cetera.
Can I share something that just popped in my head?
Yeah.
It's maybe like one of the coolest like analogies that like as you're saying that.
Share away.
Could you imagine, this might be dramatic, but and we'll get right back to Laura, but can you imagine you're a tightrope walker? You're out, you got your beam, you're tightrope walking, and as you're out there, your friend comes up behind you and is like, "You're doing great! Go and see, look at that! Wow, you're really far down, look at that! But you're gonna make it, you're looking good, come on, let's go! And you're like, so all your concentration, all your focus, all your faculties that could help you actually accomplish the task, boom, out the window, and who knows, you've probably now just fallen 4,000 stories and you're dead. I'm trying to get that concept across of like concentration and focus, and human beings tend
I love the one that you say, like if you're taking a test and someone's behind you, like, yeah, buddy, you're doing great, awesome.
Yeah, come on, man, you got number 27, come on. And you're like,
I can't do this. So I think the whole thing is just that you want to use the affection, A, when the dog has earned it, and B, when it's helping them, not hurting them.
That's the biggest,
Yeah, so earning it would be like, you've got a dog in training, there's no major relationship issues, meaning no biting you, no resource guarding you, no guarding you, no like snotty moments with you with like, even if it's not like snapping, it's like something like, you call them and they kind of give you a glance like, I'll be there in a second. Like those types of relationship issues, those you want to ease off on the affection. But if you just have a dog who's
Can you tell them why? Why would the affection be detrimental?
It just causes you to look like a soft presence, which causes the dog to not take you so seriously, or to become more anxious in your presence because you're this softie that's not taking care of things. So they have to take care of things. This is a conversation I have with most owners on the phone, is why affection doesn't help when we're bringing in board and train.
Yeah.
So now, if you had just a dog who's just goofy and silly, right? Like, maybe you just have a dog who's like goofing off and amped up, and you're just training him. Use the affection when it helps him, meaning like he's like in the place that Cujo is, thank you very much. Very relaxed, maybe laying in place command, been great all day, minded you, did great at thresholds and did the structured walk great, ignored dogs or anything that they used to do. Now they're hanging out in place and they're just relaxing and listening. That's a good time to go up, and it doesn't have to be like.
But it should be
like hours.
But like if you went over to Cujo right now, who's in a great space, and you laid a bunch of effusive stuff, you're gonna rock his world and unhinge him totally. So yes, that's the time. But if you're gonna go over and do that, like nobody can see what I'm pointing at. But if you're gonna go over and pet your dog who's done really well, like Laura said, and it's quiet, and relaxed, and chill, don't disturb that state for your own stuff because you're like, I need to connect with my dog. I need my dog to know how much I love him. Well, just go over and just spend a quiet moment with him. Just appreciate him. You can like stroke him, but like just quiet.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
Don't disturb. Don't disturb the good stuff there. You know.
And also, just the very last thing would be use affection to help training. So if your dog's doing great things and they're in a great space, and maybe you're calling them around or they're listening, you can reinforce with pet. We do that all the time. That's like our main reinforcement, is like some sort of like affirmation of a verbal or
like
a small
this.
pet. It's not like this effusive. Dogs don't like that. All this effusive stuff. Like if I sometimes the dogs are sleeping in the back of the car and I'm like, oh, they're so cute, and I like put my hand back and they both look at me like, what are you doing?
We're trying to sleep back there, lady.
Like, why do you need to touch my soft fur right now? So,
but that's such an important thing, and I know we're a little bit over, but it's that human need to touch and connect. You know, we just saw Secret Life of Pets last night, and it's so like ties in with this. We have such a fundamental need, the lonely, it's going to be heavy duty, but the lonely human being, like, and we all struggle with loneliness to some degree, but the lonely human being has a need to connect, and animals are especially dogs, are such a perfect way to connect. So what we tend to do is over-connect. We're trying so hard to, like, let's love each other. And for your dog, they don't need the same kind of things to feel fulfilled and feel comfortable. They'd much rather you take them to the park and throw the ball, or you could have a quiet time on the couch with a cuddle and stuff like that. But it's this kind of like effusive touch and pet that really tends to cause, like you said, unhinged dogs, put them into a negative space, present yourself in a bad way, not a bad way, but a soft fashion, and it tends to amp dogs up and have them take advantage of you if you're having problems of any sort. So, like Laura said, use the affection to help, not harm. You said you were confused about when to do it. Hopefully that kind of clarifies about when those moments are. But I'll tell you something, just to close this out, would be you'll get more bang for your buck out of your relationship with your dog if you'll play hard to get, and you'll actually impede a little bit, you control a little bit of your need to touch and engage. We see owners who are like, everything their dog does, good boy, that's a good boy. It becomes a meaningless conversation of like constant words and affirmation where there's no value to it anymore. Instead, play hard to get. When your dog does something special, let them know that it's something special so it has value. Anything that's done too much really dissipates its value.
Absolutely.
So don't be one of those. Don't be one of those needy Nellies that are like, I need your love.
You should do what I do. Pretty much like every couple months, I go to IKEA and get a new stuffed animal because it's like $10, and my dogs always rip it up, unfortunately.
It's got about a 10-minute lifespan, $1 a minute.
Soft, really soft plush toy. Just hold it in your hands.
So you don't, not even for them, it's for you?
No, it's for me.
Isn't that amazing though? Like, that there's such a nurturing, we're such a mess, you know? No, I'm just saying, like, I know this question's going long in the tooth, LaDawn, but it's like, this is the conflict in the human dog world for like 99% of problems.
It's hard.
Our need to connect and have affection and feel seen and feel safe and be able to love and nurture and express, and dogs who are like, I really don't need all that. And that's really the great divide. So anyways, we should probably close out on that before we just do an affection extravaganza. Hopefully, Eric, that answered your question.
Okay, this time we'll stay on time.
Yeah, I blame you for that one.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's a good question though.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2 is from Rose. Miss Rose, who we know and love.
Is it Rose Shalapi?
Shalapi. Her dog Ruger that we met, a 2-year-old GSD.
In NOLA at our e-collar workshop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Ruger's doing really well with training, but occasionally we run into some resource guarding. No way. Really? Can you explain again how to work out on e-collar to address this? I'm sorry.
Are we about to have a Gelman moment here? Mount Vesuvius about to erupt? I'm happy to take a back seat here.
Oh no, I'm just saying before you get started.
Salty.
No, it's not salty. I know, Rose. Rose, stop talking to your dog. You hear me? Stop that dog's like Wallace. There should be zero resource guarding going on. That dog is like a softy McSofty. That's like go to like get soft serve and like you get Ruger coming out of the machine, like because that is a soft dog.
Yeah.
So I kid Rose, but I'm not kidding because you know what I'm talking about. The talking stuff that was from your previous training stuff has got to stop. You're unhinging Ruger in some way, or you're causing that soft energy, and Ruger's not a tough cookie.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ruger?
Yeah.
Ruger's like Wallace.
Yeah.
Ruger's like definitely like
was
a
happy
lighter,
to give it up.
Yeah, and and just nervous. So if there's resource guarding going on, it's because there's too much soft stuff. And I know you're a tough, awesome lady. So I'm pretty sure you're probably talking or giving too much affection, because that was something that we kind of discussed.
So
I'm sorry.
we're gonna turn off of Salty Avenue, and we're gonna go down Savvy Lane. So Rose, I have to say I agree with Miss Morgan about that.
I'm not the bad cop.
No. But I like that you call it as you see it. So what I'm going to help Rose out with is the actual out command.
Okay.
But just remember, Rose, the out command in a vacuum don't mean much.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
You
So
could link it up right here, go do it, but the biggest part is going to be about the other stuff. I just loved you so much, and I loved Ruger. I know you shouldn't be running a research. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
I love it. She's like, I can't stop. So let's talk about the out command. But just remember that if you don't do what Laura is talking about, if you don't shift your relationship,
right.
if you don't move it into a space where you're actually leading, guiding, setting firm rules,
Yep.
and creating real accountability for your dog, and not prioritizing your needs affection-wise, and really like, hey, you're my dog, and I'm going to guide you, and here are the rules, and this is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do that, you're probably going to struggle, because you can teach dogs all sorts of patterns and behaviors, but what they're really looking at is the relationship, and then discerning, do I need to listen to you?
Yes.
I know this behavior, I know what you want, sit down, place, recall, out, whatever, but because I don't respect you, or because you're too needy, or you're too affectionate, or
Yeah.
you're too this,
And they're conflicted.
I'm not going to give you what you're looking for. Now, we don't want to indict you because maybe you're like,
Kicking butt.
maybe you've been
Yeah.
doing great, and Ruger's like found his Dr. Evil side, and he's like, I'm not the softie you thought I was, right? Anything's possible. So we're not going to hang you up because we love you to death. So anyways, quick little review on the out command. So we did this at the workshop, and what I want is a leash and prong on Ruger. I want the e-collar on, and I want food. A slow feeding bowl is always awesome because it gives you more time with the dog, right? Your job is to stay calm, stay cool. If it's food that is the cause, going to use that food bowl. You're going to have the leash, the e-collar. If you've got a friend, it's even easier. If you've got a friend you can enlist to hold the leash or a long line and be on the opposite end, on the opposite side of Ruger, then that's even more helpful. But I'm just going to imagine that it's just you. So leash and prong on, e-collar on, food in a slow feeding bowl if you can, because it'll give you more opportunities to work through it. And then you know how to do the release Ruger when he gives you appropriate behavior, whatever your word is,
Yeah.
break or okay or have at it or like bon appetit, whatever it is. Goes in, give him a second, let him get involved in the food, let him get invested in the food, calmly, relaxed, no nervousness, no anxiety, no anything. Take a step forward, don't get into his food, but take a step forward, maybe close the distance, maybe 2 feet away. And then I want you to simultaneously tap the button and say out. And you're gonna start at a level that you're gonna, because you know Ruger, you're gonna start at a level that you think is going to be valuable for him in that context. You may or may not be right on the money, right? How do you know you're right on the money? When you tap it and say out, because he's heard the word and she's heard the word, she's practiced. When you tap the button, if you get the right level, what'll happen is, Ruger's, hopefully you guys can see this on camera, right? I don't have anything. Here's my thing, right? Here's my bowl. Ruger's in. You tap, say out. Ruger's head comes out like this and doesn't move. Not enough. Not a high enough level and not enough motion away. So then you say out again at a slightly higher level, and then Ruger goes like this and disengages and gives you about 1.5 feet, 2 feet away from the bowl. Then you've got safety. Then you've got mental and physical disengagement, right? Now, so that said, you're going to use the leash in conjunction with this, right? So out, Ruger's in the food, you're going to step up, say out, and then when you see the head start to move out and the body start to move out, you can give gentle, and I mean gentle, don't pop the leash, don't drag, don't do anything like that. All I want you to do is whisper with the leash which direction you want Ruger to move. Ruger's most likely, you can even do this oftentimes without a leash, without really dangerous dogs, but Ruger's most likely going to just back away from the bowl.
Right.
But what you can do with the leash is you can just guide him. If you have a friend, they can have a long line, and when they see Ruger actually lift her head up and move away a little bit like this, then they can guide her away. They don't need to guide her 6 feet away, but just, it's just a little bit of like, hey, move this direction, right? So
Showing her.
right? So it comes down to basic stuff. it comes down to giving the command, simultaneously tapping the button, finding a level that Ruger cares about, and then guiding her out with the leash when she gives you some kind of compliance. Do not underwhelm her. Do not be afraid to get good compliance. Do not use such low levels that Ruger is like conflicted, wanting to stay in the bowl, feeling the pressure, and starting to get irritated. No, find a level that's high enough that Ruger actually backs up, disengages mentally and physically, and gives you this. Then, good. And then you can do the exercise again. Don't do it a million times. Do it a couple times, and then practice during the course of the week. And then there's always, do I have any time? I don't know. Cujo, stop running.
CJ. Yeah, you have some time.
Okay, cool.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Cujo. Jeez Louise. So the other thing that you can do real quick with like 15 seconds here is that you can do the auto out. And the auto out, I think I showed her as well when we were at the seminar or at the workshop, which is basically you walk up into Ruger space, and as you get within like a foot, of the space, you tap the e-collar and you say out. Right? And you walk up and Ruger should move. And then what you start to do is you start to fade that command. And what happens is every time you walk into the space, you tap and Ruger should move out. And now it becomes something where there's no word needed. All it is human proximity. Anybody steps into Ruger space, Ruger should learn to move away from whatever the object is. Bone, food, toys, whatever. That's really the out command. It's really simple. The only challenge is making sure you're using the right levels and that you're staying calm and cool, and then just guide the dog out of it. But don't guide the dog, don't you dare say out and then like hoist Ruger out. Ruger's got to do 90% of the work with this, then you guide. Salty McVie, anything else you want to add into this?
There's no salt. I'm just trying to help.
I love it. I think a little salt to keep the teeth.
I just feel like Ruger was a girl, but now the more I think about it, maybe Ruger was a boy.
Ruger is kind of a male name.
I know.
You might have steered me wrong.
I just feel like Ruger was a girl. I don't know why.
Rose, if Ruger's a guy, remember I tried to go with guy. So, have you heard Salty V?
You told me.
Right. They actually hashtag it whenever when Gary Vee does like any kind of like keynote, and he's like, God damn it, and he gets freaked out. Not freaked out, but upset. It's Salty V.
Salty V, Tim.
Yeah. Or if he shows up for a Q&A, his show, Ask Gary Vee, and he's like, the Jets have lost. He's like all salty about it. Like, people can ask any question, what do you think about the investment? He's like, it's stupid. I hate it. Oh, well, never mind. Let me work on that.
He cracks me up in this one part of his book. Someone asked a question like, I have $1 billion idea, but no one wants to meet with me. He's like, first of all, you don't have $1 billion idea. And then he's like, but if you do have $1 billion idea, someone doesn't want to meet with you. He goes down the thing, and then at the end he's like, P.S. You don't have $1 billion idea. It's so funny.
It's so great, yeah.
But the way he does, he can get away with it, seeming kind, and he's kind about it.
Yeah, because he cares, but he's also trying to bring a lot of reality. That's Gary Vaynerchuk. For anybody who's an entrepreneur or business for themselves or looking to build a business. He's been a big inspiration for T3 and all of us and the stuff we do, and very few people shoot from the hip quite the way that Gary Vee does. But you're close on his heels.
Oh my gosh, that's so not true.
Own it.
Well, if I was real, I would own it.
No, but it is real. You step up.
I'm not salty.
But salty is just a funny phrase or funny word.
Just sounds so bad.
No. You're just telling it like it is. I think people, I've said this before, I think the ladies especially really appreciate a nice, sweet, feminine girl who can also say, don't do this, don't do that, stop being a ninny with your dog, give them what they need.
Because I did all that stuff. I think that's the difference, is maybe there's trust because they know I messed it all up. It's not like I came out of the womb like, these are boundaries.
No, I mean, but that's kind of the magic of both of us, is that we've screwed it up a ton, and everybody, I mean, like, we've made it better, but you've worked through your thing with a very biting, nasty, dangerous dog, and of course you've also worked for the good dog for years, so you've seen what works with dogs. I think a lot of it comes from that. I think seeing what works, and then seeing a lot of people coming in struggling, and knowing what, if if you could implant certain information, you could probably get them to make that change.
Absolutely.
So, anyways.
Cool. Question
This is
number
quite the
3.
introspective episode.
We're like gone off. I think because last week we missed all our talking and chatting.
Because all those guys are soaking up our good time.
Gosh.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Question number 3 comes from Julie. Julie says, here's my dilemma, in all caps.
Uh-oh.
We rescued a 2.5-year-old Cane Corso,
Yes.
male, neutered, about 5 weeks
Is his
ago.
new record out yet?
Due to some aggression, he was slowly introduced and acclimated with the other boys, which is a 9-year-old bull mastiff neutered, and a 7-year-old English mastiff who's
Jeez,
intact.
it's all big dogs.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the past 3 weeks, they've gotten along great. All stay out together, sleep, walk, play, eat in separate areas. But for some reason, on Saturday, the Cane Corso decided to jump on Zeke, which resulted in puncture wounds. A few hours later, something happened and both dogs drew blood. It was obvious that Bo was trying to dominate. We're trying to work on behavior mod, talk to an obedience trainer and the vet. The vet said things will have to truly be resolved between the dogs when one submits, but I don't understand.
I need a revolver to blow my head off
what I
after that sentence.
But, yeah, but what I don't
is this, the
understand
1800s?
is Zeke does, was what he does. He turns his back with his feelings hurt at any signs of confrontation. Why does Bo not consider that submitting? We had another incident last night with my husband and I both standing there. Bo had no visible signs. He just jumped on him and there were more puncture wounds. As of now, they're keeping in separate rooms with limited exposure and under supervision.
Yeah.
Any suggestions? Can anyone recommend a protective vest that Zeke could wear?
I think you need more than a protective vest.
This way at least his back will be protected until it's resolved. I resume to give up, just keep him in separate rooms as opposed to...
Yeah, I don't know of any kind of protective vest, but which is it Bo? That's the naughty guy,
Yep.
the new guy? So Bo came in with you guys having knowledge of him having aggression issues.
Yeah.
You brought him into a house with 2 big dogs, and he's a big dog with lots of physical potential. I feel like, well, for one, you've got Bo, who's obviously showing that he's a pushy, bratty so-and-so, like at a high level. He's come into your house and he's now attacking the other dogs.
There I go.
Super disrespectful. So he's showing his true colors. It's really bad news. And with the size of dogs you've got, I mean, this is like so not something to mess around with.
Scary,
Really. I mean, you can talk about some serious fallout from this.
Yeah.
So first thing, like, I hear all this stuff about like they sleep together, they run around, they play, they do all this, but I don't hear anything about like what kind of structure does Bo have? What kind of rules does Bo have? What kind of training is Bo going through? What kind of accountability? What kind of ass kicking goes on when he makes a shitty decision and hurts one of the other dogs or blows off a command? Or are you not giving commands, right? So if I had a dog come in here, like, well, here's a little thing. We do have dogs come in here all the time that do the same exact thing.
That's true.
How do we get around that? This is a really good tie-in. So we bring in dogs constantly that attack other dogs and are in bad spaces like that. What do we do? Because this is the secret. This is like, you said like we're determined to fix this?
Yeah.
Cool. So we bring them in, we create massive structure, massive rules, accountability, lots of leadership. They do not jam out. They sleep in a crate. There's no freedom to just sleep wherever they want. They come out of the crate when we say, not when we open the door. They go in the crate when we say, not when we open the door. They go through thresholds when we say, not when we open the door. They walk in a perfect heel, not where they want to go. They don't sniff, they don't pee, they don't do anything unless we say. They walk, bam, like this. Then we teach them place and sit and down. And we slowly, fairly teach it, but then we also slowly create accountability where it's non-negotiable. Do this, do this, do this, recall, get your ass over here, non-negotiable. You want to get a dog into a better space where a dog is respectful, polite, courteous, and getting an attitude change. Start doing all of those things that I just shared with you. We don't do them for obedience magic. We do them for state of mind stuff. All of those moments where you tell a dog, you're going to listen to me. It's what I call permission-based training. If you start to implement that, you will change his state of mind. Now, that said, that doesn't mean he'll be a safe dog, but that's one component of creating a safe dog. Cujo, I don't think that placemat's big enough for you, buddy.
Lots.
So the other part of this is that we would do a full e-collar program, right? Because without a full e-collar program, you're going to really struggle with, like, you've got what sounds like probably your two mastiffs are probably both great dogs.
Yeah.
probably easy peasy. But this other guy's coming in and running roughshod, and you guys you're not advocating, you're not handling. It's a bit of the Wild West, right? So I can visualize it in my mind of what it would look like, and it's highly dangerous because what's happening is you've got this dynamic in your home where none of the dogs, well, especially the mastiffs and Bo, are not trusting each other. So there's all this tension, whether you're aware of it or not. This tension's going on constantly, and then all you need are the right triggers for this stuff to go and fly and turn into bad news stuff. So Bo should be like, your mastiffs can have some different rules because they've proven themselves to be good dogs, at least from what you shared. But Bo, he has not earned any of this freedom. He, especially with aggression issues in the past, no way. He needs to be locked down. He needs, like, every moment of his day, do what I ask, do what I ask, do what I ask. And that might feel really uncomfortable, might feel like that's not a lot of fun, but you want a safe house that's not divided. You want to get a dog under control. You want to start sharing enough leadership to create leverage to get better decision making. That's how you go about doing it. Then you do e-collar training on top of it. You want to really knock this out of the park. We've got free videos. Get yourself a mini educator. Doesn't cost a ton. You can jump in for a very low price, get this dog recall, sit down, place, and heal, and you will have a dog that's like fundamentally in a different state of mind, attitude-wise, right? This guy's probably just run roughshod over. He's a foster dog or rescue dog, whatever. He's probably been kicked out of other homes for being a jackass, right? So let's reel that in, and let's create something where he is in an absolute different gear, where he's like, holy crap, I really need to be respectful, responsible, polite, courteous. That's what we do. We create dogs that are in that zone, and they make very different decisions. Now, that said, what do you do about the actual like attack stuff and things like that? So you've got this whole foundational comprehensive approach. Then you need to, like, we're talking like, you want to know how to solve it. This is how you solve it. You got a muzzle condition. I want to call him Hans. That's another name. Bo. You want a muzzle condition Bo, right? That can take a couple weeks. Make sure that he's comfortable wearing the muzzle. And then once you've created all this structure, which will take, you know, probably a couple months to get him into a really good zone, then you have him on a long line and a muzzle wandering around the house, and he's in play, not wandering around the house, I'm sorry, he's in place, he's wherever, he's existing around your other dogs.
Structured in the house.
Structured in the house, absolutely. This should be for a couple months if you want to get this great, right? And every time you see Bo do this or look in an untoward fashion at one of the other dogs, or any posturing or any stiffness or anything like that, you correct him nice and firmly with the e-collar, and you let him know that crap doesn't fly here. You let him know that we run the show in this house, and if you decide to go after our dogs or disobey or be disobedient or be discourteous or be pushy or bratty, there's consequences for that. That's how you create a safe home. That's how we do it with every single dog, and we only have like 2 to 3 weeks tops to make that happen.
And the submitting thing, like, first of all, you're so lucky that your mastiffs aren't being like, and you know what, that's the next thing. Even if your dog's right now turning around and putting the back to your Cane Corso, even though he's now being like respectful and like, I'm gonna watch myself, man, if that dog decides, because what he's gonna do, what they start to do is go, okay, you're not gonna take care of it, which is you're not gonna take care of it, cool, I'm gonna take care of this, because I don't want this guy bossing me around
because it sucks to have a dog beating up on you all the time,
coming after you all the time in your space that you like. So there should be no submitting, like the vet thing. That's weird. Like
and please hold that thought. But the vet thing, I almost missed. Do not listen to your vet telling you to let the dogs freaking figure this out. That has been it's so old school, and it's such bullshit, and it's such a great way to create tension and separate houses and fighting and bloodshed and all this. We get so many dogs that show up here where owners have been like, yeah, we were told to let them figure it out themselves, and one would become dominant. It's such bullshit. You are dominant, not your dogs.
There should be no submitting to the one who came in like a jackass. Your mastiff is really holding himself back.
Absolutely.
And if he decides to not hold himself back one day, that's going to be
bad news.
Really bad news. And not to scare you, but that's a terrifying fight. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, like breaking that up, poof.
A mastiff, yeah, you're really lucky that they've been just turning their backs or just allowing it to happen, but that will switch. That
It sounds like she's got polite, kind of easygoing mastiffs.
Easygoing guys.
But if you're really like, I'm just going to say this because it's super important, a lot of this that we just shared is a ton of work.
Yeah.
And if you're not down to like do all of this work with the structure and the rules and watch our videos and figure out how it all looks, put all the pieces together, do e-collar training, muzzle condition, teach this dog what's okay and what's not okay, you're most likely going to find yourself in a separate house where dogs are not allowed to be together because what you've allowed, and I'm not putting this on you, but like what you've allowed unintentionally are grudges to be built, and now your dogs don't trust each other, and every opportunity they get, they go after each other, right? And that's what we see over and over and over again. So you want to make this happen, you want to like resolve this, those are the ways that you go about making that happen.
The breeds you picked are Ferraris.
Yeah.
You gotta know how to drive a Ferrari to own one. So you gotta really like,
especially like a pushy, Cane Corso,
like
right?
You can get, if you have this soft mastiff, like even Shelby has like, she's got a mastiff, but she watches him like a hawk with everything because of the potential and because he's had nervousness stuff in the past, and just like breeds that have tougher stuff, they have reputations for a reason. So you have to honor it. And you have Ferraris, so you have to put a ton of work. Ferraris cost a lot of money for upkeep. I don't know personally, but I can only imagine. Yeah. So they're not Hondas, so it's time like you got to really step it up with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All I know is that if you don't, it's going to just get worse.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to get worse.
We see it.
You've got a loose cannon in your house, and if you don't lock that loose cannon down, there's going to be a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
So not to create fear stuff, but it's just what we see.
Okay. Question number 4.
This is for both of us.
Comes from Emily. Okay.
Cool
for
question.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Emily says, how did you know it was the right time to leave your mentor or employer and start your own business? What is the best way to do this while still maintaining good relations in the future? Backstory, I've been teaching classes and working board and train dogs for almost 5 years. I've recently moved to a suburb half an hour from my job to a town with over 20,000 people and higher than average income level. There are 3 vets and 0 dog trainers, so I'm feeling the itch. My business plan is on fire and burning hotter thanks to the info you've provided here. Thank you. Oh, Emily,
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great, Emily. Cool. Well,
yeah, do you want to jump in first? You want me to jump in?
Jump in.
Okay. So I just have a couple notes for you, Emily, like really simple stuff, right? So a couple things. If your skills are there, only you can answer that. Are your skills there? Are you able to handle like whatever market you're going to go after, whether it's obedience and group classes, board and trains, behavior mod, off-leash training, whatever? Are those skills in place? Right? Like, don't BS yourself, right? Just because you're working with somebody and you've been an apprentice for a while or been your mentor and like, wow, like the stuff doesn't look too hard. Can you, on your own, start to finish, with a multitude of dogs with all sorts of different state of mind and behavior stuff that comes in that's like questionable and weird and challenging? Can you sort that out and can you create great results? So that's number 1. Is the passion there? Which it sounds like it is, but is the passion there? Because the passion's got to be like really heated. The passion can't just be like a fleeting thing of like, I'd really like to start a business. It's got to be like, this is going to be hard ass work, long ass hours, and you want to talk about like worry and stress and like carrying a lot of stuff, like go into business for yourself, right? Working with somebody, mentoring under somebody, anything like that, those people are handling all of the tough stuff. When it comes down to you of like, can I get enough clients? How's our top line revenues are coming in?
Showing up to work and having like great, like getting to work dogs and do all that fun stuff. That's the tiniest part of it when
Absolutely.
when you're doing your own
Tiniest
thing.
and easiest, right?
Yeah,
The
that's
other
like the fun. That's the coast part. That's like, oh, we get to do the thing
right,
we're here
right.
for. But
How about the emails? How about the phone calls? How about the SEO? How about the website? How about the marketing? How about, I know you've got a business plan. That's great. So
the videos, putting yourself out there, going networking, making sure all your clients are happy.
what's your profile currently, independent of your mentor or apprentice situation? Do a lot of people already know about you? Because if not, SEO, videos, website, all that stuff takes time to get traction. So don't expect to just like come out of the chute and the world to just embrace you and be like, you're finally here. They're going to want you to do a lot of work before you're actually, boom. It sounds like you've got some cool marketplace stuff with this community, like higher income, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is great. So we want to make sure that you got the skills. We want to make sure that you've got the passion. And then, do you have the business knowledge? Like, and I know we kind of just touched on it a second ago, but do you really like no BSing yourself? Do you have the business knowledge to run a business on your own? And you may have it like down pat.
Might be all yes on this.
If you do, and that's kind of where I'm headed with this, is that if you've got the skills, right? If you got the dog training skills, if you've got the passion, and you've got the business skills of knowing how to put all this together and keep the ship afloat and keep clients coming in, so you have income, because there ain't no dogs coming from just like the heavens. If you can make all that happen, then I'd say
go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Right?
And in terms of it with your current employment, because they are only 30 minutes away, so they're technically going to be competition. Yeah. It really depends, in a perfect world, like the greatest boss in the world is going to want you to just be happy. So that's kind of like would be the perfect situation. Of course, there are situations where people feel like they're being left, or if you guys have kind of gone into it and there's got like a partnership thing going on, and even though you're still working for this person, you've got a partnership thing, how's it going to play out? I would just say the best thing, honestly, is always just communication. So you just have to say your piece, and in the end, it's your life. So even if they're like, how dare you, you're going to leave me, like, the reality is you're not an owner in that company. You're not part owner. You're not on
and you're not beholding to that other person. I mean, you can love them and care about them and want the best for them, but you also have to want the same for yourself. You have to look out for yourself. You don't want to be, in 30 years be like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't start that own business with that person I don't even know anymore because they cared about it. Like, you don't want to be in that place. So you have to look out for yourself, but you also want to make it really clear to your employer, who's obviously been good to you for 5 years, that like, here's the deal. You don't have to talk about like, it's prime out there, you don't have to talk about that, but just like, money's falling from the trees. You just feel like, I'm out here and I really kind of want to do my own thing. It's kind of been a dream of mine for a while, and it's been percolating, and you might have a non-compete clause for a certain amount of, you have to look into all that stuff that you might have signed. Just make sure that you're keeping everything cool. With those non-competes, I think there's a time limit. So if you were to quit, you could spend time doing stuff for free, maybe that doesn't compete because that's non-compete, while you're building your website, and which you'll probably have to do anyway, because none of the work that you've done so far you can say is yours technically. Right. So say if it's a 6-month non-compete, I don't know how it would go, then you have to have savings for 6 months. That's another big part of this. Oh. Save money. No, you're great. You're tuned in. Save. So you'd say 6 months? Everyone always says 3 months. I'm like, double that. I want to have 6 months in the bank. Yeah, especially a brand new venture. Oh my gosh. You don't want to be struggling, taking the worst clients, being stressed out. Explain that real quick. Why would not having a lot of money cause her to take crappy clients? So you have, it's going quick. This timer's I think it's broken. Basically, when you're in a desperate place, you're desperate for a sale. So you're going to take whatever client whatever client comes across the way. Oh no, you don't want to use a prong collar? Okay, that's going to be $250. Okay, fine, I'll use a slip lead. I need the money. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you've got a dog who's not doing what you're not passionate about using a slip lead or whatever it is, whatever tool. Yeah. So you're like in that place where you're just becoming a dog trainer for hire. What we're looking for is for you to have it be a passion for you.
So the way to find a passion is, there's hustle involved, but it's really nice to have hustle when you've got a little bit of cushion. So you have some money there, or you get a side job. You get, I always say, drive Uber, work for Starbucks, serve, French fries, whatever you got to do, so that you have some income, and then be doing dog training. It's going to be light, and it's going to be.
And why does doing those other gigs? What does that give her?
The freedom to be able to choose better clients, to be able
100%.
to not be stuck and beholden to situations that you don't want to be in. So.
Because I've been there. And I mean, we've been there as an early business, but Laura didn't really see the early stages when I was putting this together. And I tried to be practical and I tried to be careful, but there were still times where I needed money, taking clients that were not good.
Right.
And
you really did. He did a ton of dog walking.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's great, is doing dog walking. Although that's your own business too. So you have to
I transitioned. I tried to be cautious in my transitions, but even so, it was still challenging, and there were still times where I would take clients that I would regret because I wanted to make sure the money was there, because at the end of it, you have to wrap your head around that the excitement is it's my gig and I create my life and I get to do what I want, and the other part is, holy shit, there's only me. Yeah. And if it all goes to hell, it's only you.
No one's paying you anymore.
No one's gonna, when you start to fall, there's no parachute. Right. No one's gonna come to your rescue. So
when it's slow, it's not vacation time. When it's slow, it's
crying time. It's crying time. So, right? Yeah. So save the money. Make sure your skills are up to par. And then before you ever decide to split, I would have, like Laura said, a really great, healthy conversation, and don't make it contentious. Really share, this is my heart stuff.
Yeah.
These are dream things for me, right? This is the stuff that you share with somebody, and if they're good quality people, they should be able to wrap their heads around that and want the best for you.
Yeah.
And especially if you say, I'm going to be really respectful of your business.
Yeah. Maybe there's dogs that business does more of that you don't want to do. Maybe they do heavier dogs and you want to do lighter stuff.
Yeah.
You can be a referral system.
Or they do puppies and you don't want to do puppies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be some sort of maybe they board dogs and you don't want to do boarding at your place because you're going to be living whatever you live. So there could be some sort of arrangement there. But in the end, it sounds to me like you're not really going to, you can't burn bridges with good people, because good people are just happy to see other people happy. They may be disappointed that you're leaving.
Yeah, which is natural.
Yeah, but you phrasing it right and talking about it being dream stuff, that's hard to argue with.
It really is. So save the money and then be super highly conscious. It's the one thing I know I already said it, but it's so damn important. I don't think enough dog trainers realize the time, the arc involved in getting the business going to where there's a constant influx of clients. It's so easy to think hey, I've got I'm getting a few calls a week and this and that, and you can get yourself all into this headspace of
or I have people that are clients of ours now that say I'm the best.
Right. Right. You're woohoo!
I'm the best, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm the only one here.
And no one's calling, right? You could have a month or two where it's gangbusters and then all of a sudden it's crickets. And if you don't have things in place that are working towards making it not crickets, then you go out of business and then you're done and then things are bad.
Yeah.
So follow the instructions from people that teach business to other dog trainers and have done it themselves. Save that money, build the infrastructure, take your time, do really nice conversation, courteous, kind stuff with your mentor, and then see what you can get. And then let us know. Let us know how it goes. We're super excited for you.
Yeah.
We just want you to be careful.
Yeah, always. Okay.
Cool.
Our big tagline at T3 is what?
Keep your day job.
Keep your day job. So maybe your day job changes, but let us know how it goes.
Yeah, or maybe you could still do the other work with this person.
Possible.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Anyways,
yeah.
we'll never know. So at least at this point.
See ya.
I want to reach through the is this on? Is
this thing on? Yes.
I want to reach through the camera and strangle every vet that tells their clients to let their dogs
just do their thing.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make this a little TGD bite if you want, because I'm fired up. But it fucking pisses me off. It's such an asinine concept of let's put our two kids in the bedroom that don't get along, you know, and let them work it out.
Yeah.
And eventually one of them will become dominant and one will become submissive.
Right.
Guess what? They'll also hate each other,
Yeah.
right?
Also be
So
bad news.
yeah, they'll freaking hate each other and they'll resent each other. So let's stop giving information. Vets and anybody else, Cujo. Vets and anybody else, let's stop giving out that freaking information about letting dogs work it out. It's old school bullshit and it doesn't work. So you work it out, you be the alpha, you be the dominant, whatever lingo you want to use, you run the house, you be the leader, you are the one that sets the rules. Do not put your dog in that position or your dogs in that position. You're going to create grudges and you're going to create fights and you're going to create tension and you're going to hate your life. Don't do it, and do not take advice from anybody that's sharing that with you. And that's what I have to say about that.
Big.
Okay.
Question.
I'm back.
Question number 5.
Yep.
We're at the end.
I thought we'd never get there.
This is from Lita.
Did you miss
Lida.
our Indian food a little bit?
I really miss it. I thought we weren't gonna. I thought we were gonna be early in the afternoon. So I was like, we'll be fine.
Slow tier.
I wish I had my drive here so I could just cut while we eat.
That would have been fabulous. I'll order you a drive. Anyone deliver a drive? Can we have the Indian place like pick up a drive at like Best Buy and like? Anyways, okay, here we go.
This is from Lida or Lita. She says, question about my almost 8-month-old rescue pup.
Yep.
The vet says he looks like a short-haired pointer. Mom looked like a boxer. People think, just mixy mix.
Right.
He loves the pool and has started trying to rescue everyone, especially if he sees you go
like a service
underwater.
dog.
He will grab your fingers, wrist, ear, or hair and pull you over to the steps or seat. Oh my gosh. He's very concerned look on his face too. It's sweet but annoying and dangerous because he once grabbed my ponytail and he had his paws on my shoulders pushing me underwater. Ooh, he's not the greatest lifeguard.
I'm not sure that's the sweetest service dog like approach.
She's like, hey, let me help you. She's like, oh, I'm trapped.
He's like drowned to the bottom of the pool.
He loves to swim, and we used to enjoy having him in the pool with us. Once you're safely on the steps, he'll relax and paddle around.
That's it.
He knows basic obedience, sit down, shake, stay. Usually, still working on it.
Does shake really qualify as basic obedience? I hate to be a persnickety about
I have
this.
to say that it does. Okay. He responds to signs and verbal commands because we were told he was deaf originally. He gets lots of exercise, which means he just wasn't listening. He gets lots of exercise, 1.5 mile walks a day, 2-mile run every other day. What's the best way to deal? Oh, 8-month-old rescue pup being so bad.
I love that.
They're like, he's deaf. He doesn't listen to anything you say. And she's still.
Are we still there, Houston? It's such a great answer for like, my dog's deaf and I can't really train him or anything like that. And like, a book drops on the ground, he like jumps sky high and you're like, oh, it must be vibrations or something like that. Anywho.
Except when you say, come, he's like, I'm deaf. Remember?
I can't hear so well. Okay, Lida. 8-month-old pup freaking out in the pool, doing a really crappy job of life saving. Looks like he's doing more of a job of life endangering. This is not service dog. This is not good. This is like, and to be honest, like I've seen this several times.
Me too.
I've seen
I
this
used to have a dog that ran around the pool like crazy, and we were like, he's trying to save us, and we're like, no, he's just being a jackass.
There's a fine line between saving and jackass. But I've actually had to go to clients' houses back in the day when I used to do all those travel sessions back to clients' houses and like teach dogs to swim or teach dogs not to like manhandle and scratch the bejesus out of people in pools. It's very common. Dogs will get a little panicky in there, right? Some dogs will just get panicky. They'll swim around and scrape you up because they're like, I don't know where to go. Right. And other dogs will absolutely like get in the space of like, I don't know if you're okay. And so the dog just doesn't know why, because you haven't told the dog what's okay, what's not okay. I'm going to put this like crystal clear for you, Lita. And that's, your dog needs to know, and I mean this with total respect, I'm just playing around, but your dog needs to know clearly what's okay and what's not okay, right? Like, I can't say it any more simply than that. And what's happening right now is that your dog's engaging in all this like nefarious pool activity, and he doesn't know. You're probably screaming, you guys are all like, no, but that is only making him worse. That's not teaching him anything about what the boundaries are. So this is going to sound a little funky. This will probably be something that you'll be like, really? With our dog? And he's only 8 months old and he's just trying to be like a lifesaver? I would love for you to get a prong collar, Herm Springer. He's 8 months old, right? He's more than old enough to handle a prong collar.
Getting a prong.
Yep. I'd get him a 2.25 or a 3.0, whichever one you want. He could use either one. Size it appropriately. Watch our DVDs on prong collar. Just type in the Good Dog Training prong collar, you know.
Free videos.
Oh, free videos. There they go. I didn't even see it fly by. It went so quick. So, I want you to size your dog appropriately to a prong collar, Herm Springer, if possible, and then I want your dog to have a leash on. I want him to have a 6-foot leash on with the prong when he's in the pool. Now, your dog starts to get nutty in the pool. You guys all recreate this. You jump in the pool, you do all your normal stuff, and when he starts to come like a call-in, right? Dog paddling your way, whatever, you grab the leash and give it a pop and tell your dog no simultaneously, right? So he comes up like pawing like on Laura. Laura's got the leash, or somebody else in the pool, like teamwork has got it. He starts to do this and he's gonna like claw up her or grab her ponytail. Pop. Make sure it's significant. Don't baby this dog because the dog's in a worked up state. If you give him a little tiny pop on the prong collar, he's not even going to care because he's kind of in a panicky, kind of like aroused, freaked out space.
It's not comfortable. Let's put it that way.
He's not in
like this valiant rescue mode. He's like
not in Baywatch mode, right? He's not like doing the what is it, the Hoff? Is it the Hoff? Is that what they call him? David Hasselhoff?
Oh, yeah.
The Hoff. He's not in the Hoff mode. Like, the Hoff knew how to handle that stuff.
Yeah. Hoff was totally prepared.
Your dog is not the Hoff, and he's not prepared. So leash and prong on in the pool, and watch how freaking easy it is to teach your dog what's okay and what's not okay. I wish I could like transport into your pool and just spend.
Pool sounds so nice right now.
It does. We don't have one. And spend 5 minutes with you and watch your dog make different decisions. It would blow your mind how quick this thing that's causing you guys consternation would change like that. If you use the leash and prong and popped your dog significantly enough, all we want to do, keep it simple, keep it clear. Consequence for this behavior that we disagree with, right? You're not going to make your dog upset, you're not going to make your dog sad, you're not going to make your dog not like you, and you're certainly not going to make your dog afraid of the pool or afraid of you or any of the stuff that might be floating around, people trying to scare you, like, don't correct him, he's trying to do a good job, whatever. He's just, sorry, I'm worked up. He's lost and he doesn't know what to do. Your job is to guide, lead, give him information, and share consequences for poor choices so he has an opportunity to make good choices. Keep it simple. Now, on top of that, something that would really add value for you guys is to train him beyond just like no in the pool. Like if you want to go simple, lo-fi, that's your easiest approach. But beyond that, teach your dog like basic obedience on leash and prong with our free videos. Man, they're so easy to follow, right? In a week or two, you can have a dog that actually knows a lot of basic commands and can do a really great job. Here's what I would love to see. Your dog, you can either do a place command or just put him in a downstay on the side of the pool, right? And you're probably like, he'll never stay. That's your job. Your job is to teach your dog, and you can teach him inside the house first. Teach him inside the house first, and then bring him out to the pool, maybe a little further away, whatever. Have somebody outside of the pool to enforce the commands. He gets up, no, pop the leash, put him back in the down. Teach your dog impulse control around this thing that gets him so worked up. And then you have both the context of like, no, don't do this specifically when you're in the pool, but also manage yourself when you're out of the pool, and don't let the pool become something that you're so worked up about that it's like going to Vegas and like people losing their minds and like he needs an intervention.
He doesn't need that.
No, so teach your dog down or place. put him on the side of the pool. Don't let him get up. Make him learn how to tolerate it. It might sound mean, but it's like, it's the biggest gift you can give this guy so he can calm down and relax and enjoy this. And what you can find is that down the road, when you've done this work, he can be in the pool and like swim around and enjoy it. And he's not clawing all over everybody or grabbing ponytails. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So do the hard work, leash and prong on him, teach him what's appropriate in the pool, give him a firm pop for being nutty and making bad decisions, and teach him down, stay, and a bunch of other commands on leash and prong that are super simple.
You can also teach him e-collar.
Yeah, I tend to go for like low
Cost.
Low cost and low cost, but also low. Let's see, not commitment.
Easier stuff to do. And
help me, college girl. Low investment time-wise, because I know a lot of people are like, shit, we don't have time for that.
We're not really into
if you want the great stuff, e-collar train your dog and like. Teach recall that dog out of the pool, like, because e-collars are waterproof. You can have them jump in and give them a little tap when, and like, that's easy. Like, you want to talk about easy peasy, do what she says and e-collar train him.
It'll be fun. You've got an 8-month-old dog, you might as well have some fun with it.
Man, would you be so happy to have a dog that you can take on hikes and have him come back and all that stuff?
And swimming is the coolest thing. I wish I had a pool so bad just because they are e-collar trained.
Yeah.
They can swim, you can call them out of there, you can do fetch. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
So I'm going for like kind of the low impact, easiest approach.
This might be tough with like if the dog's in the pool on a prong with a leash, and it's a lot to do.
Yeah.
If you do want to go
I've done it before, so I know it works.
Yeah, no, it works, but it's a lot. So.
Yeah. So we're giving you 2 tiers, right?
Yeah.
We're giving you like easy peasy, not a lot of money, less time invested, less work, less focus. And then Laura's giving you a little bit more expensive, but way more like amazing stuff where you can actually have a dog off leash, recall him out of the pool, take hikes with him, have him off leash at the park, stuff once you get to a place where he's really rock solid, and just have a whole different dog situation. He's so young, you're gonna have him for so long. Man, can you imagine like having an e-collar trained, like for all of us, like having an e-collar trained dog versus not, the freedom and ability to communicate and what you get. We always say like we wish every dog came e-collar trained, because then you just have such a different life with them. So anyways, this has been a long one, and so we're going to wrap it up. I hope that helps with the pool stuff. Any questions, hit us up in the comments. We'll try and do our best to help you out with it.
Okay, guys.
TGD updates.
We're going to do a couple updates today. We were going to do 3, but I've got a few, so I'm going to save some for next week. The first one is this is actually from a client, a Good Dog client. Yeah. She also watches Q&A, and she's a big fan. She's awesome. Her name is Chrissy Nicholson. Her dog's Gemma, and she's worked with Britt, our head trainer, our one-on-ones trainer, for a long time now, and she's just awesome. And I just wanted to share this little update that Britt sent. It's like one of her favorite clients. She has lots of favorite clients, but she just loves Chrissy's. Just really, really kicked butt. And she's pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant. She's just out there trying to get her dog great, and she's really just gone through a lot of great stuff. And we're always so happy to hear updates about her. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about. She said, she's texting Britt, and she said, I seriously wish someone was videoing me and Gemma. We went by 12 dogs on leash and several fence barking crazy dogs, and to top it off, one loose dog came full speed out of its driveway at us, barking and crazy, and Gemma did so great. Like, I'm in shock at her progress right now. I stayed dead calm as the loose dog approached and kept following us. Not only was that dog coming full speed, there were 3 other dogs barking at us in a driveway tied up.
A war zone.
And another on leash. Yikes. It was crazy, but I was just assertive with Gemma to keep her going forward with me despite the dog on her butt. As you guys say, when you have leverage with the dog, it helps so much. That could have been all bad even just 6 months ago. Tell the team thanks so much. I'm hoping I can get some videos to proof for you guys so you can see. LOL. So
wow, that's super awesome.
Quick, here's the video. So that's just a video of dogs are barking, and Gemma's just kind of just chilling,
doing her thing.
Yeah, and it's just super exciting because just Chrissy's just been a badass, and so we just wanted to shout her out.
And did they do one-on-one sessions?
Yeah, I think they were one-on-ones with Britt.
Okay,
yeah.
And e-collar?
E-collar, yep, full
Awesome.
e-collar program, and just
that old e-collar thing.
The old e-collar.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
So awesome job, Chrissy. Okay, the second update I have is from Candace. Candace says, I have some updates on training my Doberman Lou. I'm sending you before video with his reaction at the sound of a doorbell, which is just a small representation of the way he acts when there's an actual stranger at the door. So just this doorbell clip is very, very light.
Like a minor version. Yeah.
So check this out. And then now she has an after video of teaching him place and correcting for barking. He doesn't react to the sound anymore, and he doesn't react to strange people coming in the house that he doesn't know if I'm prepared to correct for any poor decisions. So we're definitely making great progress. Now that I have his e-collar work, it's no big deal. I've also been working heel on and off leash as well as recall, and he's rocking it. It's my favorite part. I love that I can have him come back to me reliably as opposed to if he's in the mood. I included these videos as well. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm feeling proud. Love you.
Oh.
So check out these videos of her doing heel and recall with her dog.
Yeah.
Boo, come. Yes. Heel. Good boy. Okay, go Patty.
Cool. So Candace did the most awesome thing.
Awesome.
She sent video. I have, like I said, I have a couple other updates for next week that I'm going to share as well, but we just wanted to share those two.
Yeah.
Candace, first of all, she sent us all that video. It's super helpful for us because we get to see the work in action. She has the DVD, I think, and I think the DVDs, and she's just killing it. It's just awesome. And you can see her Dobie in that second clip, in that after clip. He doesn't look thrilled. There's no, make no bones about it. He's not like, oh, guess. He's really he's fighting it. You can see, but
conflicted is the way we like to put it.
The perfect way to put it. So what I would love, Candace, if you're watching, is if you can get us some video in a couple months of that Dobie.
After he's kind of moved through the transition.
He's moved through the process of being nervous about the doorbell or nervous about people, guarantee you he'll be just sitting on that pillow no big deal.
I think that's something a lot of folks don't get. That, we always use the therapy analogy, and therapy, you tend to go in and you're a mess.
Right.
And the mom did this, and then eventually, if you do enough work, hang in there, buddy. The sheriff is on duty. You do enough work, hopefully you come out on the other side feeling better. And a lot of dogs, this is so important. I'm not going to take long, but it's so important that dogs, or that owners realize that dogs go through periods when they're training where they don't always look comfortable. And there's a lot of trainers that are always trying to dress it up and make dogs look like everybody's happy all the time. But you know what? When you're transitioning away from being dog aggressive or highly reactive or highly territorial or resource guarding, and you start to work away from those habits, it's uncomfortable. Really? It's hard. It's not easy. The dog is uncomfortable and conflicted, and you have to be okay with that transitional period and trust that your dog is going to come out on the other side when he's had enough time, like Laura said, to practice to where he's big door, big deal, it's the door, or yep, there's the resource, and I back away from it.
If you've ever been on a diet, and this is maybe the most universal example that everyone's tried, I'm gonna eat healthier, I'm not gonna eat sugar, I'm gonna not drink alcohol, or whatever the things that people no bread or crazy things.
Whatever
like
they
no
torture
bread.
themselves with, right?
Whatever you guys do. No, I mean, I've definitely seen my share of many of those things
As
for
have I.
pretty much my whole life. So I would say, at the beginning of a diet, people always say, oh my gosh, it's so hard right now. You try to go to a restaurant where everyone's eating pasta and bread, or you try to like eat the broccoli and chicken instead, killed him, instead of like the pizza, and you're just miserable. Like, it's not like you're sitting like, oh, this is so delicious, because you haven't, like, it hasn't worked, it doesn't feel good yet, you don't see any results yet. Then, after what, like about a month after you start, ooh, okay, I'm slimming up, I'm looking kind of good, and this food actually tastes good to me as opposed to pizza, I don't really want that as opposed to this, then you just start, mealtime becomes easier, going out to dinner isn't such a big deal. It's not so much like, oh, let's pick the best restaurant that will not tempt me. You're kind of like easy about it.
Yeah, you transitioned out of the kind of fighting it to the acceptance point, and it actually becomes something comfortable.
It's comfortable, and the acceptance, that I hate that, because people can say like, oh, it's like helplessness, but that's why the diet thing is such a cool example, is because you're not just learning to be miserable. You shouldn't be. It's that you're actually learning.
My new diet
to
I'm marketing, by the way.
Learning to be miserable.
Yes. And drop 5 pounds in the process.
I've been on that diet, I think. But, you're more just learning like, oh, this is a lifestyle, and this actually feels more comfortable, and all over I feel more comfortable for a lot of reasons. So that to me is like, you could take that clip of that Dobie and be like, oh, he's miserable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will. I'm sure people will look at that and go like, oh, that's a shut down, beat up, right? You know what? Good that he's like quiet, that he's suppressed.
Dobie like running at the door with the strangers coming in.
Not depressed, suppressed, right? Suppressing that behavior of like, I don't like who's at the door. Tough, toodles. Keep your ass on place, whether you like it or not. And eventually, you won't care. We've seen it too many times. I don't mean that to sound like a hard ass, but it's just like, you have to be willing to let dogs transition through discomfort to get to the other side. And I think so many owners have been scared shitless by all sorts of, so much rhetoric out there about like corrections, punishment,
or
any of this stuff.
Or just having them not act a fool. Like, that's punished. Like, you can't, if you're a 100-pound Dobie, you're not allowed to run at the door like a train. I'm sorry. You could possibly jump on someone and really hurt them and get yourself killed. So you're not allowed to do that. Yes, you have to sit on that pillow. Yes, it's not as much fun. But guess what? You get to live in my house. And you see those other clips of Lou, like, off leash running and like being all silly and goofy. It's not like he's like this depressed guy. He's just like, in that context, not super comfy with it yet. Guarantee you she's going to give us footage. Give us a couple months, like give me a month actually, and send me something else, Candace. I'd love it.
And the reason he's not so comfortable is because all of those old patterns say, go to that door.
Do it.
Go to that door, feel this stuff. And Candace is saying, don't do that. Don't do that. So that's where the conflict comes in. He'll transition as that habit becomes deeper.
Promise you.
So nice work. Thanks for sharing that. Really,
cool,
really appreciate it. Anything else we need to hit on this marathon, session?
And it's Friday, and I have to get home and cut this sucker. So the only thing I asked Sean was that I don't get home past 7, and it's already 8. So I'll be home at 8:30.
But it wasn't like I sabotaged it.
No.
It was just today just got away from us a little bit.
It was both of us.
Yeah. So I'm not the bad guy.
No, not at all.
So, but a really good episode, and I have to say, just to close this out, the questions we're getting right now are flippin' amazing. And this was so hard to pick. Like, I could have picked another 5 or 6 questions.
You might be doing some.
We talked about doing like Q&A vaults. Where we answer, or I answer questions, or maybe we answer questions together that are really good, but they don't end up on the show, but they're kind of like special stuff for VIP folks like you guys. I'll post them on Facebook or elsewhere.
Maybe we'll put them in the book.
Could be.
Also save them for the book.
Could be. So You guys, thank you so much for all the
Yeah.
amazing questions. I regret so much that we haven't been able to get to all of your stuff because we love all of you guys, and like Laura knows.
If you ask him 2 weeks in a row, you might get it on the show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because we didn't answer it now doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah.
It just means we had to, kind of keep a balance of the show and stuff like that. So keep submitting it. We appreciate it so much. And Laura knows if I had my way, I'd sit here all night and answer all the questions, just because I feel bad about not being able to like help everybody with it.
Yeah.
But we'll find our way.
Yeah,
Right?
we will.
You ready to get out?
Let's do it. Episode 93 in the can.
Boom.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Guys, edging closer to 100.
Episode 100.
What are we going to do? We're going to jump out of that cake or the
I think we
donut?
should just retire.
Just retire. Okay.
The donut.
Can we jump out of the donut to retire? I'm still pushing the
I'll
donut.
just get you donuts. How about
Okay.
that?
All right. Maybe I'll jump into the donuts. Anyways, guys, love you all. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.